This is the pre-trip. As I approach my door, I'm looking at my door. It opens and moves properly. The metal around it is not dent, bent, or twisted. It is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my gaskets. My seals is properly mounted. There's no cuts, no frays, no dry rot, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at all of my glass. It's clean. It's no cuts, broken, or missing. It is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my hinges and bolts. It's properly mounted. None is coming loose. It's not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my stairwell. Nothing coming up. It's properly worn, evenly worn. It's not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my stairwell lights. Proper color is white. It's not cracked, broke, or missing. The metal around it is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my handrails. Properly mounted. It's not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. As I move up, I'm looking at my fire extinguishers. Properly mounted. It's in the green, and which indicates it's ready for use. I'm looking at my emergency roadside kit. Properly mounted with 3 reflective triangles and 6 spare fuses. I'm looking at my first aid and body fluid kit. Properly mounted, fully stocked, and ready for use. I'm looking at my students' monitoring systems. All of my cameras is properly mounted. It's not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. As I sit in my seat, I'm looking at my seat belt. It's properly mounted. It's no cut, no frays, and it adjusted just for me. I'm looking at all of my mirrors. My outside mirror, my student mirror. It's clean. It's not cracked, broke, or missing. The metal around it is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. That concludes part 1. I'll be back with part 2. Now I'll be performing part number 2, which is called the safe start. I will make sure my bus is in neutral. I will apply my parking brakes. I will start my bus. Bus started. ABS light came on and off. Works properly. DEF fuel is on and working properly. I'm checking turning on my headlights. It's working properly. Turning on my high beams. It's working properly. I'm turning my left turn signal. It's working properly. My right turn signal is working properly. My hazards is working properly. My air is working properly. My defrost is working properly, and I have good airflow. I'm looking at my windshield. It's clean. It's not cracked, broke, or missing, and it's secured to the bus. There's no illegal stickers that will prevent me from my visuals. I'm looking at my windshield wipers. It's working properly. The metal is not bent, dent, or twisted. It's secured to the bus. The rubber is not cut, no frayed, no dry rot. It's secured to the bus, and it is attached to the windshield. My windshield wiper fluid, when we do have it, it works properly. As you can see, I'm pushing it in, and it's making it work properly. That concludes part 2 of the safe start. I'll be back with part number 3. Number 3, I will be performing all of my braking. I'll be doing my air brakes, my service brakes, and my parking brakes. Now my air brakes. At governor cutoff, I'm going to turn off my bus. I'm going to turn it back on, but not start it to the on position. I'm going to make sure my bus is in neutral. I'm going to release my parking brakes. I'm going to mash my service brakes. Ask my tester, could you test me for 1 minute? 1 minute is up. I did not lose more than 3 psi in that 1 minute. I'm going to start fanning my brakes. The 60 psi, my warning light and buzzer came on. I'm going to keep fanning to 40 psi. 40 psi, my emergency brake should pop out. Emergency brake pops out. That completes my air brakes. I'm going to start my bus, and I'm going to blow the horn. Now, while my air brakes is building back up, I'm going to do my seat check. I'm going to check all of my seats. I'm going to do top, bottom, 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 top, all the way down, bottom, top. They are secured to the bus. The metal, all the metals is not bent, dent, or twisted, and they are secured to the bus. Now I'm going to do my emergency exits. We have 7 emergency exits in this bus. We have 1 door, 4 windows, 2 in the back, 2 in the front, and 2 emergency hatches. I'm going to look at my emergency door. It sounds, it opens properly. The buzzer sound, which means it's working properly. I'm going to look at my emergency hatches. If there was an emergency, I would turn my latch to exit and push out the whole window. But since it's just practice, I'm going to lift up to look for my strobe light. Strobe light is working, proper color is white. The metal around it is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm going to close it back down, and I'm going to perform my service brake test. I would not be performing it. I would not be performing it, demonstrating. I'm just going to explain it. To check my service brake, I will mash in on my service brake. I will put my bus in drive. To mash in on check my service brakes, I will mash in my service brake. I will put my bus in drive. I will release my parking brakes. I will pull forward no more than 5 miles per hour. When I mash my service brakes, my bus should not sway to the left or the right. It should just stop. That completes my service brakes. And always at governor cutout. Now I will be performing my parking brakes. At governor cutoff, I will mash my service brakes. I will put my bus in drive. I will apply my parking brakes. I'm going to mash the gas 3 times. My bus should not move. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. My bus did not move. My parking brakes is working properly. That concludes part 3. I'll be back with part 4. Part number 4, I will be doing an external light test. I'll be checking my clearance lights. I'll be checking my 8-ways. I'll be checking my hazard lights. I'll be checking my headlights, my high beams, low beams, left turn signals, right turn signals, school bus sign, and crossing arm. I'm going to ask my tester, could she go out front and help me check those items? I will let her off the bus. She will go off and go in the front of the bus. Okay, I'm going to check my my clearance lights. Clearance lights is on. Check. I'm going to check my headlights. Headlights on. I'm going to check my high beams. High beams is on. Check. I'm going to check my left turn signal. Left turn signal is on, as you can see in the crossover mirrors. I'm going to check my right turn signal. It's on. I'm going to check my emergency flashers. It's on and working properly. Check. I'm going to check my 8-ways. 8-ways is working properly. Check, as you can see. Check. I'm going to check my school bus arm and crossing arm. It came out, it's checked. My school crossing arm came out, it's checked. All of my lights is working properly. Now I'm going to ask my tester, could she come to the side? I'm going to check, could you please check my clearance lights? Could you please check my right turn signal? And could you please check my hazards lights? And could you please check my stairwell light? Okay, I'm going to close the door. Clearance lights, I'm going to look up, point up, check. My right turn signal is blinking. She's going to check. My hazard lights is blinking. She's going to check. And I'm going to open my door, but she could check my stairwell lights. Open, and it's open and check. Thank you. Now, I'm going to check my rear of my bus. I'm going to check my clearance lights. I'm going to check my 8 ways. I'm going to check my right turn signal, my left turn signals. I'm going to check my my brake lights, and going to check my back lights. Could you go to the back and check it for me? She's going to go to the back. I'm going to close my door. And she's going to meet me in the back of the bus on this side so I can see her and checking those things. Now I'm going to check my clearance light. I'm going to check my right turn signals. It's on and check. I'm going to check my left turn signals. On and check. I'm going to check my hazard lights. They're on, and she's going to give me a check. I'm going to check my 8 ways. It's on, she's going to give me a check. I'm going to check my brake lights. I'm stepping on them. As you can see, the motor drop. It's checked. I'm going to check my school bus sign. Again, it's on and it's checked. And I just completed all of my light lens checks. I'm going to ask her to come back up front. She's going to come back to the front. Say, I'm going to do the front of my bus. Could you wait to the front of my bus? I'm going to close my door and turn off my emergency buzzer. I'm going to turn my bus off. Walk to the back of the bus. Turn off my emergency buzzer. Emergency buzzer off. Also make sure my headlights is off. That's what's beeping. Headlight is off. Open my doors. That concludes that part of the test. I'll be back with the next part. Okay, now I'm going to do the pre-trip of the front of my bus. I'm looking at all of my light lenses, proper color, it's clean, it's nothing cracked, nothing broken, nothing missing, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my right side mirror. I'm looking at my right crossover mirror. I'm looking at my left crossover mirror and looking at my left side mirror. All of my mirrors is clean. They're not cracked, broke, or missing. They're secured to the bus. All the metal is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my school bus stop sign. Opens and moves freely. Proper color is red. The billow is not cracked, not leaking, and it is secured to the bus. All of the metal is not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my battery box. Door opens and moves freely. There's nothing obstructing it from moving. I'm looking at my battery to make sure it's properly connected. There's no excessive erosion. Everything is properly mounted. It's not bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my school bus crossing arm. Opens and moves freely. It's nothing bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. Now I will be performing under the hood. That concludes that part. I'll be back with the next part. And now I'm performing under the hood. I'm going to open up my hood. Okay. I'm looking at my coolant reservoir, looking at my power steering reservoir. It's properly capped, filled to the right levels between max and minimum. Is nothing cracked, nothing leaking, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my oil dipstick, properly mounted, secured to the bus. If I need to check it, I will pull it out, wipe it clean, reinsert it, bring it back out, and make sure it's filled to the right oil level. I'm looking at all of my air hoses, properly mounted, nothing cracked, nothing, no dry rot, no leaks, properly mounted, secured to the bus. I'm looking for air leakage, no puddles up under the ground to indicate that something may be leaking. Everything is properly mounted and secured to the bus. Okay, I'm looking at my steering system. I'm looking at my steering rod connecting to my steering box. There's no missing bolts. There's nothing bent, dent, or twisted. Everything, no missing pins, no missing nuts, no missing bolts, nothing bent, dent, or twisted, and everything is secured to the bus. Looking at my leaf spring, properly stacked, nothing bent, dent, or twisted, secured to the bus, and everything is properly mounted. Also looking at my front and rear spring mounts, properly mounted, nothing bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus, as you can see. Looking at my shock absorbers, it's nothing bent, dent, twisted, no leaks, everything is secured to the bus. Looking at my brake line and hoses, properly mounted, it's nothing leaking, no cuts, no abrasion, no dry rots, and everything is secured to the bus, as you can see. Looking at my brake line, brake contaminants, making sure there's no dirt, no grease, or contaminants upon my brake shoes or pads. Now I'm looking at my tire. It's properly mounted, evenly worn, 432 in tire depth, where the rubber meets the rim. It's properly mounted. The rim has no dents, nor bent, nor twisted, nor illegal wells. I'm looking at my lug nuts. It's all properly capped. There's no shine, no rust that indicates that one may be leaking. Everything is properly mounted. Is nothing bent, dent, or twisted, secured to the bus. I'm looking at my valve stem and cap. It's properly mounted, nothing bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. If I need to check my air pressure, I will use a tire pressure gauge, and it's also used for inflating and deflating of the tire. That concludes that part. I'll be back with the next part. Part number 8, I will be performing the side of the bus. Now, first thing, I'm going to look at this mirror. It's properly mounted. It's clean. No cracks, no broke, nothing missing. The metal is not bent, dent, or twisted, secured to the bus. I'm looking at all of my clearance lights. I'm looking at all of my reflectors, clearance lights. I'm looking at all my reflector tapes. Everything is properly mounted, proper color, nothing peeling, nothing missing, and everything is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my DEF fuel door. The mechanics have this key, but it opens and moves freely, properly mounted. Cap is properly tight. It's no cuts, no leaks, nothing dripping that indicate that something is leaking. Now, as I go down here, I'm going to look at my fuel door. Opens and moves freely, properly capped, no nothing bent, dent, or twisted, no leaks, nothing leaking that indicates we have a gas leak. I'm looking at also my gas cage and mount. Nothing leaking, nothing dripping, nothing bent, dent, or twisted, and it is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my frame and cross members. Nothing bent, dent, or twisted, is secured to the bus. I'm looking at my floor, properly mounted, nothing bent, dent, or twisted, no leaks, everything is secured to the bus. As I move to the rear of the bus, I'm looking at all of my light lenses. Proper color, it's clean, no cracks, nothing broken, nothing missing. Looking at all of my reflectors, reflective tapes, nothing peeling, nothing missing, and everything is secured to the bus. That concludes that part of the test, and I'll be back with the next part of the test. As I'm riding in a subdivision, every street I come past, I'm going to check for traffic. Always checking for traffic. Every street I come to, I'm always going to check for traffic. I'm approaching the stop sign. Make sure you stop behind the stop sign. Checking for traffic always. Proceed safely when it's safe to do so. I'm approaching the street. I'm always checking for traffic. Every street I come to, I'm going to check for traffic, and I'm going to make sure I stop at every stop sign. Proceed safely when it's safe to do so. Now, if I have a student drop-off, that red car down there is my drop-off. At 200 feet, I'm going to activate my amber lights. I'm going to stop at my stop sign. I got 3 kids need to get off my bus. I'm going to open my doors. I'm going to call my 3 kids to the standee line. Once they reach the standee line, I'm going to make sure I'm always checking for traffic. I'm going to have them to go to the bottom of the step, and I'm going to have them to look right and left. Each one of them look right and left before they exit the bus. When they exit the bus, I'm going to have them to come over here to my crossing arm. I'm going to stop them. I'm going to count them. Make sure I got my 3 students right there. I'm going to have them 2-finger sweep to the left corner of my bus. I'm going to stop them, always checking for traffic. I'm going to have them to stop right there. Once I see that it's safe to do so, I'm going to have them to cross the street 12 feet away from the bus. I'm going to count them, make sure they count it. 1, 2, 3. I see my students, and I'm going to let them go across, always checking for traffic. I'm going to close my door, make sure they are 12 feet away from the bus. I'm going to wave them goodbye, and that was my student drop-off. Always checking for traffic. Every street I come past, I'm going to always check for traffic. Okay, we have an emergency on board. Every bus may have an emergency every now and then. So if there's an emergency, I'm gonna pull far over to the right as possible. I'm gonna get out the way, pull far over as possible. I'm gonna put my bus in neutral. I'm gonna pull my parking brakes. I'm gonna address the issue. If there's an issue, I need to address it now. Once I get the issue under control, then I'm gonna turn back. I'm gonna put my bus, match my service brake, put my bus back in neutral. I'm gonna turn on my blinker. I'm gonna check for traffic, and I'm going to proceed when it's safe to do so. I'm going to proceed when it's safe to do so. It's safe to do so, so I'm going to proceed back into my lane. That's every emergency that you may come across. Always pull to the right. Always pull out of the way of traffic. Address the issue. Once you address the issue, always check for traffic and proceed when it's safe to do so. That concludes the emergency roadside stop. I'm approaching a railroad. At 200 feet, I'm going to turn on my hazard lights. I'm going to open my windows, and I'm going to kill my noise. When I get to 1 bus length plus 15 feet, I'm going to stop. I'm going to open my doors. I'm going to look. I'm going to rock and roll, looking for traffic and train. Once I see I'm 15 feet plus 1 bus length of my outage, I'm going to proceed across, close my doors. Once I get across, I'm going to turn off my hazard light, turn back on my noise, and close my window.